Alright, this is big. It looks like we just got a hold of the biggest Sony leak of the year, and if these details about the upcoming A7 V are real, they are absolutely wild. We're going to break down everything from what could be a game-changing new sensor, to a rumored AI autofocus system that sounds almost like science fiction, and of course, the price that might just send a shockwave through the camera world. Now, we need to be clear. Everything we're about to talk about is based on leaks and rumors, not an official announcement from Sony. But the information that's surfacing doesn't point to just another small update. It suggests a revolutionary leap. For years, the Sony A7 series has been the go-to workhorse camera, but this new model could completely redefine what a hybrid camera can be. So, the big question is, could the Sony A7 V actually be the perfect hybrid camera? Let's dig into the leaks and see what's what. The sensor, the tale of two remorse heart of any camera, is its sensor. And this is where the rumors get really interesting, pointing to a huge decision Sony might be facing. And like past launches, the word on the street isn't about one sensor, but two completely different, very powerful options for the A7 V. The first rumor, which has pixel peepers buzzing, is a brand new 44-megapixel BSIC MOS sensor. Let's be real about what that means. Jumping from the A7 V's 33 megapixels to 44 is a massive boost in resolution. This would be an absolute dream for anyone shooting landscapes, commercial work, or portraits, giving you the power to make huge prints or crop in like crazy without losing any quality. It would push the A7 V into territory usually reserved for much more expensive, specialized cameras. But then there's the second, equally juicy rumor, a 33-megapixel stacked CMOS sensor. Now, the megapixel count might be the same as the A7 V, but that word stacked changes everything. What that means for you is one thing: speed. We're talking about incredibly fast readout that would crush rolling shutter, that awful jello-like wobble you get in videos with fast pans. This would be the perfect choice for sports, wildlife, and serious video shooters who need clean, distortion-free performance. So that's the central drama of the A7 V leaks. Does Sony go for insane detail or unbelievable speed? Either way would be a major upgrade from the already great A7 IV, but they serve to very different creators. This isn't just a spec bump, it's a choice about the camera's entire identity. The brains of the operation, an AI power-up, of course. A killer sensor needs a powerful processor, and this is where leaks suggest the A7 V is taking a huge step forward. Rumor has it the camera will not only get Sony's latest Bionic XR processor but also a separate, dedicated AI chip. This isn't just about making the menus faster. If true, adding a dedicated AI chip could completely change the camera's intelligence. We're talking about an autofocus system that goes way beyond just finding faces and eyes. Leaks are pointing to advanced AI-powered subject recognition for things like vehicles, insects, and animals with a precision that was, until now, only found in Sony's flagship A1 series. Just imagine an autofocus that doesn't just see a bird, but actually anticipates where it's going to fly. That's the level of intelligence we could be looking at. If you thought the autofocus on the A7 V was good, the A7 V is rumored to make it feel ancient. This AI chip would likely also improve things like color science, noise reduction at high ISOs, and smarter auto exposure, tackling a major headache for hybrid shooters who have to deal with unpredictable subjects. It's a move toward a camera that doesn't just capture a scene, but helps you create the perfect shot. Need for speed and doubling down on performance. That rumored new processing power apparently unlocks another huge upgrade that will make action shooters sit up and pay attention. The rumor mill is churning out a continuous burst shooting speed of around 20 frames per second. So, what does that actually look like? The current Sony A7 V, which is no slouch, maxes out at 10 frames per second. The A7 V is rumored to literally double that. That's a massive increase that would essentially bring the speed of Sony's top-tier, ports-focused A9 series into the more accessible A7 line. For anyone trying to nail that perfect, split-second moment, a game-winning goal, a bird taking off, or that fleeting expression at a wedding, 20 frames per second means you're just not going to miss the shot. If this rumor pans out, this spec alone would transform the A7 V from a great all-around camera into a serious tool for high-speed professional work. We're about to get into the video specs and the rumored new body, which are just as exciting. But if you're as hyped about this camera as I am and want to stay on top of every single A7 V leak as it drops, do me a favor and hit that subscribe button and turn on notifications. It's genuinely the best way to make sure you don't miss a thing as we get closer to a potential announcement. A new view EVF and body design. Right. Let's talk about what it might actually be like to hold and use this camera, because specs on a page are one thing, but how a camera feels is another. Leaks here suggest Sony is focusing on some major quality of life improvements. First up, the electronic viewfinder, or EVF. The A7 V is expected to get a resolution bump to around 5 million dots, which would be a nice jump from the 3.68 million dots in the A7 IV. For you, that means a clearer, sharper, and more lifelike view of your scene. The goal is always to make an EVF feel as natural as an optical viewfinder, and this would be a big step in that direction for a more immersive shooting experience. Even more interesting is the rumor that the A7 V might borrow its body design and screen layout from the high-end Sony A7 V. This would imply a more premium build, better ergonomics, and a more professional layout. For anyone who felt the older A7 models were a little cramped, this could be a huge win. And, critically for videographers, the leaks point to better heat management. Overheating during long 4K recording sessions has been a sore spot for many hybrid cameras. A redesigned body that can handle heat better means you can roll for longer, making the camera far more reliable on a professional shoot and directly addressing a major limitation for serious video work. The video powerhouse. What we know. Speaking of video, while the final specs are still a mystery, all the rumored hardware upgrades point to one thing: the A7 V is shaping up to be a video monster. The better heat management, the chance of a faster stacked sensor, and that powerful AI chip all add up to some seriously promising video capabilities. Based on these rumors, we could expect much better 4,000 recording, with some of the more speculative reports even mentioning higher frame rates like 4K 120 FPS with little to no crop, something filmmakers have been begging for. This would be a massive leg up on the A7 IV, which has to crop in quite a bit for its 4K 60p mode. And that AI processor wouldn't just be for photos. It would almost certainly bring that smart subject tracking to video, giving you a whole new level of autofocus reliability when you're filming something on the move. Some rumors even whisper about the possibility of 16-bit RAW output over HDMI, which would give professional colorists a ton of flexibility. Again, we have to wait for anything official, but all the signs from the rumor mill point to Sony pushing the A7 V to be the ultimate hybrid camera, trying to kill the compromises videographers have had to live with in this lineup. The moment of truth: a price and release date. Okay, we've gone over the incredible rumored specs and the pro-level power. But it all comes down to the one question that can make or break a camera: what's this thing going to cost? Brace yourselves, because the rumored price seems to reflect just how big these upgrades are. The consensus from multiple sources is that the Sony A7 V will launch with a body-only price somewhere between $2,800 and $3,000 USD. Yes, that's a noticeable price hike. For context, the Sony A7 III launched around $2,000, and the A7 IV launched at $2,500. This follows a clear trend of Sony pushing the A7 series more upmarket with every new model. But before you get sticker shock, think about what you're potentially getting. A 44-megapixel sensor, 20 frames per second shooting, a dedicated AI chip, a high-res EVF, and pro-level video features. If you look at that list, you're seeing specs that were exclusively in $6,000 flagship cameras just a few years ago. So the real question is that price jump justified by this massive leap in performance? As for when you might be able to buy it, the rumors are pointing to a release window sometime before September 2025. So, let's bring it all home. The Sony A7 V leaks paint a picture of a camera that isn't just an update, but a major evolution. We're looking at a fascinating choice between a rumored 44-megapixel sensor for incredible detail or a 33-megapixel stacked sensor for incredible speed. We're seeing talk of a dedicated AI processor that could revolutionize autofocus, a doubling of burst speed to 20 frames per second, and a ton of pro-grade body and video upgrades. And it's all expected to land at a price somewhere around $2,800 to $3,000. This brings us back to our big question. Is the Sony A7 V the perfect hybrid camera we've been waiting for? On paper, if these leaks are true, it gets tantalizingly close, blurring the lines between a mainstream camera and a flagship beast. But now I want to hear from you. What do you think of that rumored price? Are these rumored specs enough to make you think about upgrading? And which sensor are you hoping Sony goes with, the 44-megapixel detail monster or the 33-megapixel speed demon? Let me know your thoughts down in the comments. I really want to see what you all think about this potential beast of a camera.